Are you arriving at Haneda International Airport or HND? Want to know how to get to Tokyo or the city center from there? Wondering which option is covered by the JR pass or which is the fastest or cheapest option? Well, don't worry because I'm going to answer those questions and more in this video. So in this video, I'm going to introduce the two international airports in Tokyo and then go through the different transport options to get from Haneda Airport into central Tokyo and also give you my advice regarding each option. If you're arriving at Narita International Airport or NRT, then I've made a separate video which you can check out. I'll put a link in the description below. With all that being said, let's get going. So there are two international airports in Tokyo, Narita Airport, which is about 80 kilometers east, and Haneda Airport, which is about 30 kilometers south. So Haneda Airport is the closer airport to central Tokyo. Originally, Narita Airport was the main international airport, and Haneda was the main domestic airport. However, Haneda Airport was renewed and expanded in 2010 with the opening of its international terminal, Terminal 3, to handle international flights as well. Also, fun fact, Haneda Airport was named the second best airport and best domestic airport in the world in 2020 by Skytrax. So just a few notes to keep in mind before I go through the different options. Number one, if you have the Japan Rail Pass and want to activate it, the exchange office is located on the second floor of the International Terminal building where the Tokyo Monorail ticket gate is located. I'll put a picture right here from the official site and a link in the description. Number two, if you need to switch terminals for any reason, there is a free shuttle bus service on the ground floor to transfer between Terminals 1, 2 and the International Terminal 3. They depart every 5 minutes and it takes about 5 to 15 minutes to get between each of the terminals. And number three, the prices I'm going to mention are all adult prices. Children between the ages of 6 and 12 is basically just half the adult price. And children 5 and below travel for free as long as they don't occupy a seat. So option one is the popular Tokyo Monorail train. It is probably the fastest option you have. It takes about 20 minutes to get to Tokyo Station and it will cost you about 660 yen, and it is also covered by the Japan Rail Pass. Trains operate from 5 AM until 11:30 PM and they depart every 5 minutes or so. So you will get on at Haneda Airport Terminal 1, 2 or 3 depending on where you arrive and then get off at Hamamatsucho Station. And then transfer to the JR Yamanote line, the green line for Tokyo and the other major stations. This is a general tip, but if you arrive late in the afternoon or in the evening and won't be doing much traveling that day, then activating the JR pass just for this one trip might not be worth it. Unless of course it covers the entire duration of your trip, for example. Just a note on the JR Yamanote line, it is a convenient city loop train located within the city center. And it's popular among tourists because it can take you to many sightseeing spots and also major transfer stations such as Shibuya, Ikebukuro, Shinjuku, Ueno, Shinagawa and Tokyo Station all along the one line, so it's very convenient. It is a local train, so try to avoid rush hours if you can, especially if you have large luggage or baby strollers or skis, as it can get quite crowded during those times. So option two is the Keikyu Airport Line Limited Express train. There are a few different ones, but they all take about 35 minutes to get to Tokyo Station and cost about 470 yen in total. The trains operate from 5 AM until midnight and they depart every 10 minutes or so. It is not covered by the JR pass because it's a private railway. So you will follow the Keikyu train signs until the ticket gates. And then get on at Haneda Airport Terminal 1, 2 or 3 towards Shinagawa Station. There is also another train that goes towards Yokohama Station. So if you're going there, then take that train instead. Once you get off at Shinagawa Station, transfer to the JR Yamanote line, the green line, towards Tokyo Station. Shinagawa Station is also a major transfer point. So you can also take one of the other JR lines towards Tokyo. I think they'll only take, a few minutes to get to Tokyo from Shinagawa. If you get a little lost, you can use the Japan travel app that I introduced in the how to take the train video to make this easier. I'll put a link in the description so you can take a look. So option 3 is the airport limousine bus. which takes about 30 to 40 minutes to get to Tokyo Station, depending on traffic, and cost about 900 yen. So the good thing about these buses is that you can choose where you want to get off from a long list, usually a major station or hotel within the city center. So it is very convenient if you don't want to lug your luggage around or figuring out transfers, then it is a good option. And even if your accommodation is not listed, like if you're staying at a hostel or somewhere small, then you can choose a stop that is closest to your accommodation and maybe walk over instead. I'll put a link in the description so you can see which hotels and stations it stops at. So option 4 is the Keikyu limousine bus. So the Keikyu train line have their own limousine bus service. So it also takes about 30 to 40 minutes to get to Tokyo Station depending on traffic, but it'll cost you about 1,000 yen instead. So the Keikyu limousine bus have different stops than the airport limousine bus. So for example, if you're going to Hakone for skiing, you can use the Keikyu limousine bus, or Fuji-Q Highland, or the Tokyo Disney Resort, or the Tokyo Skytree, and more. So I would take a look and compare the destinations to see which is closer to your accommodation. Just a note that the travel times and the prices will vary depending on your destination. So option 5 is to take a pre-booked airport transfer taxi, and depending on the taxi company, it'll cost you about 8,000 yen per car for 3 passengers to get to central Tokyo, and takes about 30 minutes or so depending on traffic. So this is a good option if you're coming as a group or as a family, because you can share the costs, and it'll also take you directly to your accommodation. So the driver will also be waiting for you with a sign outside the exit gates, and will also wait for you if your flight gets delayed. So if you're leaving or arriving after midnight or early morning, then I would definitely consider this option. So option 6, the last option, are your normal taxis. Depending on the company, it'll usually cost you about 7,000 yen or more to get to central Tokyo, and takes about 30 minutes depending on traffic. If you do take a normal taxi though, make sure to ask for a fixed rate. It's called teigaku in Japanese, because the meter will usually end up costing you more. There might also be additional late night fees and toll fees on top of the quoted price, so keep that in mind. You can also pre-book these taxis in advance, and the driver will be waiting for you with a sign outside the exit gates. I'll put a link in the description to a few different companies so you can compare the results. So I hope this video has given you many options to travel from Haneda Airport into central Tokyo. So for me, if I'm traveling alone, then I'll probably take the monorail or airport limousine bus, depending on where I'm going. But if I'm traveling as a family, then I'll consider taking the airport transfer taxi instead. If you decide to take the train but feel a bit uneasy, then I would recommend watching my How to Take the Train video, which should make you more confident when taking the trains in Japan. Well, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Please let me know what you think in the comments, or if you have any questions. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to see more content from me. And I'll see you in the next video.